God says, you are being called higher on October 28th. If you ignore this, you'll keep repeating the same lesson. Open now to elevate. The Spirit of the Lord speaks clearly in this hour. October 28th is not just another date. It is a divine appointment, a celestial invitation, a prophetic threshold that marks the end of delay and the beginning of ascension. For those with ears to hear, this is not a message of inspiration, but a call to action, a trumpet sounding in the realm of the Spirit, alerting those who have been hidden, those who have been hurting, and those who have been circling the same barren mountain for too long. This is not coincidence. This is divine orchestration. Heaven has circled this day on its eternal calendar, and the Lord now calls his chosen. My child, you have delayed long enough. You have questioned, you have wondered, you have wavered. But the season has shifted, and now I call you higher. You are being summoned to climb. You are being summoned to come out from among what is familiar. October 28th is a spiritual portal, a holy intersection where destiny demands a decision. The heavens are aligned, the spiritual gates are trembling, and the angels are awaiting orders. It is not your imagination that you feel tension in your spirit, that sleep has fled you, or that the atmosphere around you seems charged with invisible electricity. Something is coming. Something is being stirred. But this message is not for everyone. It is only for those whose spirits have grown restless, those who feel the burning dissatisfaction with the shallow comforts of the present. This is for the ones who are tired of the loop of delay, of disobedience, of almost but not quite. This word is for the spiritually sensitive, for the ones who have felt the divine nudge again and again, but still stayed still when heaven was moving. And now, heaven speaks clearly. If you ignore this call, the cycle will repeat. If you push aside the invitation of this moment, you will find yourself back at the same mountain, back with the same spiritual tests, back in the same emotional confusion, wondering why nothing changes. The Father's voice is loving, but it is not casual. It is firm. It is clear. It is holy. And he says, be still. Listen. Obey. Before the 28th arrives, prepare your heart, your mind, your soul. This is not a motivational message. This is a spiritual command. For the door that opens on October 28th will not remain open forever. If your heart feels stirred, even now, that is the Spirit bearing witness that this word was sent for you. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. In the next few days, the atmosphere will shift. The earth may look the same, but in the spirit realm, the gate has already begun to open. Heaven is preparing a divine elevation, a sacred alignment reserved for those who have been marked for more. And not everyone will perceive it. Not everyone will respond. Only those whose spirits have remained sensitive, only those who have survived the pressure of delay, the pruning of wilderness, and the whispers of divine unrest will feel what is about to descend. This is your warning. This is your awakening. October 28th is not coming. It is arriving. And heaven is watching who will answer. In these final days before this prophetic threshold, the air will feel strange. Time will begin to warp. Minutes may feel heavy. Hours may stretch long into contemplation. Sleep will evade you, not because of anxiety, but because your spirit is being stirred. Something deeper than your understanding is activating. You've been walking through your days with a question in your chest that words cannot touch. That, beloved, is heaven's call. You are being drawn higher, and this time, you cannot ignore it. Archangel Michael now stands at the gate of divine elevation, his sword drawn, guarding what you cannot see, but are about to step into. The Holy Spirit is brooding, hovering over your atmosphere, pressing on your heart with the unseen weight of destiny. There is an invisible scroll with your name on it, a divine assignment ready to be released. But it waits for one thing, your yes. You have felt this. The restless nights. The sudden irritation with places that once brought comfort. The fatigue with conversations that no longer nourish. You have felt it, a holy dissatisfaction, a quiet whisper that says, there is more than this. You are not finished. You are not forgot. You are not disqualified. And here comes the divine truth. October 28th is not random. It is the day heaven finalizes what fear tried to delay. It is the date of divine reactivation, where long-paused promises receive new breath and the voices of obedience unlock doors no man can shut. The old cycle is gasping for breath, but it can only end if you choose to step out of it. This word is not for the crowd. This is not mass encouragement. This is divine notification to the called, the consecrated, the hidden ones who have carried private burdens under public smiles. This is a message for the wounded worshippers, the tired intercessors, the quiet prophets, the weary builders, those who obeyed when no one saw. Heaven saw. Heaven recorded. Heaven remembers. You were not passed over. You were being preserved. Now, the moment has arrived. You are being called higher. Not for fame, but for fulfillment. Not for applause, but for assignment. You were not made for cycles. You were made for ascension. And the mountain that has stood before you all year now starts to tremble, because it senses that your spirit is preparing to climb. But you must choose. Not emotionally. Spiritually. You must choose to rise. Choose to say yes. Choose to trust again. Choose to surrender what feels safe, so that heaven can release what is sacred. Do not hesitate. Heaven has waited long enough. Heaven has waited for your yes. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. In this hour, the shift is not just spiritual. It is emotional, atmospheric, relational. What you are sensing is not confusion, but divine stirring. You are walking through a mystery in motion, and everything around you can feel it. You may not have the full language for what's happening, but your spirit already knows. It's why conversations have become draining. It's why people around you have shifted. It's why tension has risen in places that used to feel like peace. The atmosphere knows you are being called higher. Do not be surprised if things begin to unravel without warning. People may pull away. Others may begin to gossip, question you, misunderstand your silence. They feel it, even if they can't name it. They sense your elevation. Your spirit is rising. And because of that, some will be irritated without cause. Relationships will be tested without explanation. Invitations will be rescinded. Doors you once begged to open may now shut in your face. Not because you did something wrong, but because heaven is cutting ties you didn't have the courage to. There is emotional disruption in the air, and it is spiritual. The enemy is stirred. Not because you failed, but because you've matured. And when the enemy sees a soul about to elevate, he will always try to tether them to the familiar. He will use distraction, seduction, and even false urgency to keep you reactive rather than prophetic. But hear this clearly. Not all resistance comes from people. Some of what you're feeling is not personal. It's spiritual warfare. These are energetic blockades, strategic assignment sent to keep you tethered to a season that's about to expire. And now, let me speak to the confusion you've been feeling. That strange sense of disconnection, as if everything you once knew no longer fits. You've been walking through your days feeling half here, half there. You've been in conversations where your heart wasn't present. You sat in places that used to comfort you, but now feel foreign. Why? Because your spirit is preparing to leave what your flesh still clings to. Ask yourself, why do I feel distant from the people I once craved? Why does my peace feel harder to find in places that used to feel like home? Why does everything around me seem unsettled, as if something is coming, but I can't explain what it is? The answer is simple, yet supernatural. You are no longer where you were, and not yet where you're going. This is the discomfort of transition. This is the stretching of divine preparation. You are in the tension between calling and completion, the sacred space where heaven rearranges what no longer aligns. And they know it. Those around you, even those spiritually asleep, can feel something happening. Some will celebrate. Others will resist. Most won't even understand why they're reacting the way they are. But do not take their response personally. Do not let offense block your obedience. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be elevated. Keep your eyes on the unseen. The realm of the spirit is more active now than ever before. Every conversation, every interaction, every shift in mood or emotion, it's signaling something beneath the surface. You are not losing your mind. You are discerning a realm most ignore. And the closer you get to the 28th, the more intense it will become. Because elevation always disrupts the environment before it promotes the person. Type "I am being prepared" in the comments if this message confirms what you've been sensing. Blessing code 7755 is now moving in your atmosphere. As you feel this shift in your spirit, if this word has confirmed what you've carried in silence, we invite you to help us carry it further. Every time you sow into this message, through a super thanks, membership, or donation, you help awaken another soul that's been trapped in cycles. You're not just giving, you're sowing into deliverance, into clarity, into divine timing. Heaven said in Isaiah 55:11, "My word shall not return void," and your support ensures that word reaches the ones who need it most, right when they need it. I believe you're here for more than just listening. You've been called to help activate someone else's deliverance. So, if this moment stirred you, don't scroll away. Respond prophetically. There's a giving link in the video description via PayPal. Use it as an act of spiritual agreement. Let your generosity become a prophetic act. May what you release unlock what's been held back. So into the movement, and may God multiply it back in open doors and divine justice. Now move. Not because you have to, but because heaven just whispered, it's your time. What looks like chaos to the natural eye is often the final refinement of heaven before divine promotion. You must stop judging your current storm by earthly standards. This is not destruction. This is consecration. This is not rejection. This is repositioning. The noise you are hearing in your life is not a sign of abandonment. It is the sound of spiritual shaking. And in the spirit realm, shaking always precedes glory. Right now, it may feel like your life is unraveling. Things aren't falling into place, they're falling apart. But heaven would say to you, "My child, I have not forgotten you. I have hidden you in the fire, not to burn you, but to refine you for what is coming." Every disappointment was a divine redirection. Every delay was a disguised mercy. What felt like punishment was preservation. What broke your heart was heaven shielding you from a path that would have broken your destiny. Listen closely. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are under attack because you are chosen. Because the enemy knows what you're about to carry. He's seen the all-being poor. He's watched heaven write your name beside assignments you haven't even seen yet. And now, hell is nervous. But here is what you must understand. The battle you're facing is not about your past. It's about your future. It's not about what you've lost. It's about what you're about to walk into. The opposition is not personal. It's prophetic. Because spiritual resistance increases at the doorway of elevation. You must begin to see this through heaven's eyes. This is not random warfare. This is targeted testing. It is not meant to crush you. It is meant to prove you. Heaven is watching how you respond. Not how loud you pray, but how obedient you are in silence. Not how you perform publicly, but how you trust privately. You keep thinking God is delaying your breakthrough, but God is not late. He is watching your posture in the furnace. He is measuring your silence as a form of obedience. Heaven's eyes are upon you right now. There are scrolls being opened with your name. And the Spirit is saying, you're closer than you think. Don't break now. Don't bend to the noise. Don't respond to the distractions. I'm testing your readiness, not your reputation. You've outgrown the old realm, and now the old realm is rejecting you. That's why nothing fits. That's why you don't feel at home anywhere. That's why peace is elusive in environments that once felt comfortable. Because heaven has already lifted you, but now your choices must align with your elevation. You are being pulled higher. And your discomfort is divine confirmation. God did not forget you. He's been watching you walk through the warfare. He's seen every silent battle. He's collected every tear. And now the verdict has been declared in the Spirit. Promotion is at the door, but peace will only come through surrender. You must see your conflict as holy. You must frame this warfare through a heavenly lens. Because once you recognize the purpose behind the pain will lose its power. Once you accept that what is attacking you is a sign of what you're about to carry, you'll stop shrinking under pressure and start standing in prophecy. This is not just another hard season. This is your spiritual proving ground. This is the final test before you rise. And if you can stay silent in obedience, if you can stay still in warfare, if you can stay focused in the middle of the distraction, then nothing can stop what God is about to release. Type "I'm ready for the next level" in the comments if this message speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 4499 is breaking strongholds now. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is not a vague spiritual impression. This is a divine warning, clear, firm, and urgent. Heaven has issued a call, and it has an expiration date. October 28th is not symbolic, it is scheduled. It is not poetic, it is prophetic. It is not about a feeling, it is about obedience. And this time, if you ignore the call, the consequences will not wait for your comfort. You've been here before. You stood at this threshold before. You felt this tug before, the sacred tension between where you are and where you're called. But what you may not realize is that every time you delayed, the cycle reset. Every time you paused, heaven waited, but time didn't. Every time you rationalized your hesitation, the assignment was delayed, but the warfare intensified. And now, the Father is speaking with clarity. If you do not heed my voice by October 28th, the cycle will repeat again. You will see the same faces. You will battle the same demons. You will walk in circles around the same wilderness until obedience becomes your breakthrough. This is not punishment. This is process. But the process cannot advance without your yes. Heaven is shifting things now. Even as you hear this message, something has already been activated in the spirit realm. Within the next 72 hours, decisions will be made in heaven. Paths will be reassigned. Assignments will be rerouted. If you remain passive, what was meant for you could be handed to another. This is the season where disobedience comes with a cost, not in love, but in timing. There is an invisible pressure mounting in the spirit. You've felt it already. The tension, the urgency, the divine unease that follows you into your day and refuses to let you rest at night. That pressure is not stress, it's heaven knocking. There are certain alignments that will not wait this time. Certain doors are opening, but they are not staying open forever. The window is narrow because the moment is holy. This is a sacred threshold, and the longer you linger in indecision, the more costly your delay becomes. You can't talk your way into elevation. You must obey your way into it. You can't worship your way around disobedience. This time, the next level requires action. Real movement. Real surrender. Real change. And listen carefully. Someone near you is about to move. Their obedience is about to trigger a divine chain reaction. You may not even see it, but their movement will shake something in the spiritual atmosphere around you. And heaven will wait to see if you respond to the ripple. This is bigger than you. This is connected to divine orchestration. Your yes is not isolated, it activates others. Your delay does not just affect you, it delays generations. What you decide in these coming days will shape more than your season. It will shape your legacy. So the Spirit says again, this time you cannot sleep through the summons. This time you cannot drown out the call with noise or numbness. This time you cannot afford to ignore the signs I've placed before you. You've asked God for confirmation. This is it. You've prayed for clarity. You're hearing it now. You begged heaven for a breakthrough, but heaven is waiting for your yes before it releases what's been held back. This is your. The countdown is already in motion. You cannot stall. You cannot delay. You must choose obedience before the door closes. Type "I will not miss my moment" in the comments if this word has pierced your spirit. Blessing code 3030 is covering you in divine urgency. Now is not the time to explain yourself. Now is not the time to defend your obedience to those who cannot hear what you hear. This is the moment where heaven calls you into holy stillness. This is the hour where silence becomes your shield and withdrawal becomes your weapon. There is a war taking place above your understanding, and your only posture now is stillness. Not stillness rooted in fear, but stillness rooted in trust. Because when the child of God rests in obedience, the armies of heaven go to war. The Father is commanding you, be still. I am handling what you cannot reach. I am silencing voices you do not see. I am overturning altars that were built to delay you. But I will only fight where you do not interfere. I will only move when you stop trying to manage what must be surrendered. Withdraw. Pull back from the noise, from the arguments, from the entanglements that drain your discernment. Do not get caught up in carnal conversations. Do not let the enemy bait you into fleshly battles. This is a spiritual war, and your silence is your strategy. You are not being distant. You are being consecrated. You are not isolating. You are incubating. There is a divine strategy in separation. God is closing your ears to distraction so that He can fine-tune your hearing to instruction. Heaven is drawing you into a sacred chamber, away from the clamor of familiar voices, so that you can hear what's next. And what's coming cannot be downloaded in chaos. It must be received in stillness. You will not discern your next move through people. You will discern it through presence, through quiet, through fasting, through worship that doesn't need to be loud, only honest, through prayers that groan more than speak. The enemy wants to keep you busy because he knows that busyness blinds you. But heaven is calling you to slow down so your spirit can speed up. And in that stillness, heaven will speak. Angelic activity is increasing. Interventions are happening even now, but you must not move ahead of God. Do not try to force outcomes. Do not try to manipulate timing. Let stillness be your warfare. Let trust be your resistance. The command is simple, yet weighty. Be still, and know that I am God. You've quoted it. Now you must live it. Because in stillness, you are not weak. You are armed. In stillness, you are not idle. You are aligned. In stillness, the Holy Spirit begins to hover. He begins to form in you the very thing the world could never offer: clarity under pressure. And while you rest in Him, heaven is moving for you. There are battles being won in rooms you'll never enter. There are conversations being silenced before they reach your ears. There are traps being exposed before you ever step into them. There are attacks being canceled because your obedience created a shield. You are surrounded, not by fear, but by fire. Not by enemies, but by angels. Do not let your emotions pull you out of position. Do not let impatience push you into premature action. Your rest is not laziness. Your rest is a weapon. Your stillness is not avoidance. It is alignment. And in this alignment, you will be protected, not because you earned it, but because you obey. The Spirit declares over you, no weapon formed against your destiny shall prosper. No voice raised against your name shall stand. No plan to delay your elevation shall succeed. For I, the Lord, go before you, and I shall be your rear guard. Obedience activates angelic defense. Discernment reinforces your perimeter. And when you choose stillness over striving, you create space for God to do what only He can. Type "I trust God's strategy" in the comments if this word confirms your posture. Blessing Good 5500 now surrounds you in divine protection. There is a shift taking place even now, a holy unveiling, a divine empowerment that is wrapping itself around your soul. You are not who you were when this year began. You are not who they remember. You are not defined by the season that tried to break you. You are not imprisoned by the words that tried to limit you. You are stepping into your becoming. You are walking into your power. The veil is lifting. The fear is falling. The shame is dissolving. And the oil is rising. This is not just healing. This is transformation. You have not merely survived the fire. You have become something new because of it. Every silent battle matured you. Every unspoken tear deepened you. Every quiet yes, when no one saw, developed a strength in you that hell cannot undo. You are not empty. You are equipped. You are not behind. You are aligned. And now, heaven is calling you to walk in what you've been carrying all along. You've mistaken silence for weakness. You've mistaken being hidden for being forgotten. But God says, I've been molding you in private to unveil you in power. You were never overlooked. You were protected. You were never rejected. You were reserved. And now, the shift begins. The spiritual power that once lay dormant within you is now being stirred, reawakened, and set on assignment. Heaven saw you stay faithful when it hurt. Heaven saw you love when it costs. Heaven saw you intercede for those who left you bleeding. And now, heaven responds not with pity, but with power. Not with comfort alone, but with coronation. You are being crowned in places they never saw you grow. You are being elevated in rooms where your name was never mentioned, but your faith was. You are being equipped to walk boldly where others shrunk back in fear. Because this time, you do not walk in insecurity. You walk in authority. This empowerment is not loud. It is not theatrical. It is not arrogant. It is holy. It is confident in God, not self. It is rooted in knowing that everything that tried to destroy you only exposed the depth of who you really are. You have come through fire, and you did not burn. You walked through floods, and you did not drown. You crossed through isolation, and you did not lose your voice. And now, the mantle you carry is heavier, because it's real. You carry the weight of obedience, and that is where your power lies. Let the Spirit announce this over you. You are not going back. You are not shrinking again. You are not returning to small thinking, to spiritual laziness, to emotional compromise. The old realm has been closed. The new realm is now open. And I, the Lord your God, go before you. You are not just being healed. You are being sent. You are not just rising. You are being placed. And your elevation is not about ego. It's about assignment. You are carrying something sacred now, and your obedience has qualified you for what your resume never could. So rise with clarity. Move with purpose. Speak with boldness. Worship with depth. You are no longer who you were, and the world is about to meet the version of you that heaven designed before the pain ever touched you. Type "I walk in power" in the comments if you feel the shift. Blessing code 8844 is now unlocking your mantle. Now the mystery begins to unfold. What was hidden is being uncovered. What was delayed is being delivered. What was once confusing is now becoming clear. October 28th is not just a date. It is a spiritual signal, a prophetic marker, an appointment between heaven and the ones who dared to keep walking when nothing made sense. This is not coincidence. This is not random. This is divine revelation, and it's breaking through the fog even now. The Lord declares, this is the moment where purpose overtakes pain. This is where what was postponed is activated. What you thought was a punishment was actually a preparation. God was not denying you. He was developing you. The silence wasn't abandonment. It was refinement. And now, the purpose behind your process is stepping into full view. The purpose that once seemed distant is now leaning close. Heaven is no longer whispering. Heaven is announcing. October 28th marks a divine unlocking. It is the hour when assignments once delayed by fear, confusion, or warfare are released again, but this time with acceleration. What should have taken years, God will now redeem in days. What was blocked by distraction is now being recovered by alignment. The doors that refused to open before will now respond to your voice, not because you have changed it, but because heaven has changed you. Your name is known in the courts of heaven. Your surrender has not been in vain. You have touched the Father's heart not with your perfection, but with your persistence. And now, the scroll of your life is opening again, but this time, without interruption. The angels assigned to your purpose are now being reactivated, and your obedience is unlocking what disobedience once delayed. There is a release coming, not just of things, but of clarity, of strategy, of relationships aligned with your next. This is not a blessing for show. This is a release for assignment. Heaven is not interested in temporary comfort. Heaven is committed to eternal consequence. And this time, the gates are opening not for applause, but for alignment. Everything is beginning to make sense now. Why you had to walk alone. Why you had to endure certain betrayals. Why doors shut when they should have opened. It was all part of a divine delay that carried a deeper purpose. This is the season where the pain finally prophesies. This is the hour where the questions are answered not with words, but with fulfillment. Do not despise the days that shaped you. They were not wasted. They were woven. The Lord used every dry place to deepen your well. Every tear watered your next harvest. Every moment you stayed silent, instead of reacting, became a stone in the foundation He was building. And now, the time has come. The alarm in the Spirit has sounded. And the call is clear. My child, say yes. Say yes without needing all the details. Say yes without needing to be understood. Say yes, even if you're afraid. Because what's coming is greater than what's past. What I am about to release in your life will make sense of every unanswered prayer and every delayed promise. This is your activation. This is your opening. This is your elevation, and it begins now. Type I receive this release in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 9981 is now active in your atmosphere. If your spirit is leaping, it's because heaven is speaking. This message was never meant to stop with you. It was meant to spread. When you support this ministry, whether through YouTube membership, a super thanks, or a one-time seed via PayPal, you're not just giving. You're planting into the soul of someone who's on the edge of breakthrough. You're making sure that the voice of God finds those who feel forgotten. Isaiah 60:1 doesn't just speak, it commands, arise, shine, for your light has come. That's not just your word, it's theirs too. And you can be part of the rising by giving into this word, sowing into its reach, and activating heaven's echo across nations. I believe someone watching has been stirred to action, not just in faith, but in impact. Your seed is prophetic. Your giving is warfare. Your generosity is agreement. You'll find the link to give in the video description below. Use it as a divine response. Give not because we ask, but because the Spirit already whispered, be part of what I'm doing. Release your gift, and may your obedience open your own prophetic gates. Heaven is no longer waiting on time. Heaven is now waiting on you. The assignment has been written. The doors have been unlocked. The angels have been positioned. The only thing left in this divine equation is your agreement. Not passive hope. Not emotional hype. Prophetic alignment. Bold agreement. Faith-filled action. This is the moment of destiny activation, and the Spirit of the Lord says, I have prepared the next level, but it is voice-activated. It moves by your yes. You are not waiting on a sign. You are the sign. You are the confirmation someone else prayed for. You are the answered prophecy wrapped in flesh, carrying a divine sound in your spirit. You don't need another sermon, another delay, another reason to postpone. Heaven has made its move. Now it's your turn. This next level doesn't respond to indecision. It doesn't bow to fear. It doesn't accommodate half-heartedness. It responds to obedience. Swift, courageous, surrendered obedience. This is the moment where you must declare with your whole being, I rise. I answer. I ascend. Speak it until your spirit catches fire. Speak it until every doubt dissolves. Speak it until your surroundings feel the vibration of your spiritual momentum. Because this is not just about feeling different, it's about moving differently, thinking differently, praying differently, planning differently, living like someone who knows their life has been set apart for more. You don't need another confirmation when the call is this clear. You felt it for months, maybe years. That burning sense that where you are is no longer where you belong. That frustration in your soul that refuses to settle for survival. That longing for something deeper, something purer, something eternal. That was never emotion. That was your destiny tapping from the inside, waiting for you to unlock the door. And now, the Lord says, unlock it with your voice. Activate it with your obedience. Step into it by faith. There are assignments waiting for your yes. There are lives tied to your surrender. There are regions, atmospheres, and bloodlines that are waiting on your movement. The path you take next will either disrupt the generational pattern or continue it. This is no longer about personal blessing. This is about prophetic impact. You are not just being elevated, you are being commissioned. So start moving in the direction of what you've been shown. Plan in faith. Speak with authority. Cleanse your life from the residue of old agreements and expired alignments. Release the fear. Release the hesitation. Release the belief that you're not ready. You were not made to stay still. You were made to step forward. You may not see the entire map, but God is calling you to walk anyway. You may not feel completely prepared, but that's the evidence that it's faith. Heaven isn't waiting for perfection. Heaven is waiting for motion. Your obedience will unlock provision. Your movement will unlock revelation. Your surrender will unlock favor. But nothing changes until you do. Nothing shifts until you step. This is your moment of divine motion. And with every step you take, heaven is aligning what was once delayed. Every move forward becomes a spiritual declaration. I will not be bound to where I've been. I am stepping into who I was always meant to become. Type I activate my destiny in the comments if this word is stirring you to move. Blessing Code 2211 is now releasing supernatural alignment into your path. While you've been walking, wondering, wrestling, and waiting, heaven has been negotiating. Angels have been dispatched not just to protect you, but to restructure everything the enemy tried to entangle. The Spirit wants you to understand this deeply. There is a silent exchange happening in the realm of the unseen. And though your natural eyes have not caught it yet, your spirit has been sensing it all along. This is the holy unrest you've been feeling, the evidence that your destiny is being recalibrated in silence. There are divine transactions happening in your name. There are scrolls being rewritten. There are assignments being reapproved. There are paths being realigned and promises being reignited. And you must know, not believe, know, that even when you sleep, even when you are unaware, heaven is working in synchronization with your obedience. You may not see it, but what you surrendered in the natural is producing fruit in the Spirit. The Spirit of God says, for every yes you whispered through tears, I have released a fresh oil. For every step you took in confusion, I have ordered a divine exchange. For every moment you chose silence over self-defense, I have planted the seeds of justice in the ground. This is not just breakthrough. This is spiritual compensation. This is divine recompense. You cried privately, and now you will be crowned publicly. You fasted when no one knew, and now favor will find you in places you didn't apply. The years of internal wrestling were never wasted. They were weighed. And now, The scales are tipping in your favor. There has been a spiritual trade taking place. Your pain has become wisdom. Your tears have become oil. Your silence has become strength. What once drained you is now fueling your discernment. What once broke you is now birthing your boldness. While the world sees stillness as stagnation, heaven sees stillness as strategic movement. And because you did not rush ahead, the Lord has gone before you. This is the holy mystery, that when you feel least active, heaven is often most involved. When you release control, God increases activity. There are spiritual conversations occurring in heavenly places, and your name is being spoken. Not because of performance, but because of positioning. Your obedience has spoken louder than your credentials. Your surrender has qualified you for things that talent never could. There's a reason your spirit has been shifting before your mind could understand. You've been sensing the weight of something that hasn't yet shown up. You've felt heavy with divine movement, but lacked the words to explain it. That's because what is happening is not logical. It is prophetic. It's not emotional. It's eternal. You are not late. You are on time for a moment that was prepared before you even entered the womb. Don't be deceived by the silence around you. Don't mistake lack of noise for lack of movement. What's happening now is sacred and strategic. Every prayer, every fast, every letting go, it has authorized heaven to move on your behalf. And though the enemy tried to hide your harvest in the fog of fatigue, the Spirit says, I have not forgotten what you laid down, and I will now release what was withheld. The exchange has already begun. While you rest, heaven reorders what was stolen. While you wait, heaven reclaims what was delayed. And while you obey, heaven resurrects what was buried. You are closer than you feel. You are deeper than you appear. You are further than they see. Heaven is finalizing what your faith already authorized. Type I am in divine alignment in the comments if you receive this truth. Blessing code 1818 is now activating heavenly exchanges on your behalf. There comes a moment when the scales of heaven tilt. When what has been tolerated ends, and what has been endured is reversed. That moment is now. The Spirit of the Lord declares that divine justice has begun. Not delayed. Not pending. Word released. Finalized. Initiated in the courts of heaven and now descending into the earth realm. This is not just a breakthrough. This is a holy reversal ordained by righteousness, sealed by obedience, and backed by the authority of the throne of God. You thought the injustice would go unanswered. You thought the betrayals would remain buried beneath time. You thought the delays were forgotten, that what you suffered in silence would never see vindication. But heaven says, I have seen it all. I have recorded every lie. I have witnessed every snare. I have measured the motives. And now I rise in your defense. The ones who mocked you will marvel. The ones who walked away will witness what they were never assigned to carry. The ones who laughed at your stillness will now watch as heaven exalts what man attempted to erase. This is the season of divine reversal. The rejection you experienced is now turning into recognition. The shame they tried to place on you is now becoming your stage for glory. What they meant for harm, I, the Lord your God, will now use for good. Not just for your comfort, but for your calling. Not just to restore your image, but to reinforce your identity. Because you are not defined by what they did. You are defined by who I called you to be. And that identity will not bow to slander, nor break under betrayal. This is your Esther moment, where what was decreed against you will be overturned by divine favor. This is your Joseph chapter, where those who sold you into pits will witness you seated in palaces. This is your Job restoration, where everything that was stripped is returned with increase. And not just increase, but justice, multiplied by the weight of what was endured. For every season you were silent, I am now speaking. For every time you were overlooked, I am now revealing. For every opportunity denied you, I am now opening a gate that no man can shut. Let it be known, the hands that tried to delay you will now witness your divine delivery. The words that tried to curse you will now testify of your covering. And the traps that were set for you will now ensnare the very spirits that sent them. You are not fighting for victory. You are walking in it. Because justice is not coming. It has arrived. And in this divine justice, I will not only restore what was taken, I will recalibrate your timeline. You will not miss what you were meant to walk in. I will redeem the years. I will expedite the promises. I will bring swift reward for long obedience. The enemy slowed it, but he could not stop it. The accuser tried to block it, but he failed to revoke it. What I have written over you is permanent. Final. Sealed by blood. Your harvest has outgrown your hurt. Your favor has overthrown your fear. And now, the Spirit of Truth declares, you will no longer apologize for how I elevate you. You will no longer hide the glory I placed on you. Walk boldly, for justice has found you. Walk confidently, for your story has been reversed. Type "justice is mine" in the comments if this word confirms your turnaround. Blessing Code 4114 is releasing reversal, recognition, and restoration now. And now, the word comes full circle. Everything you've walked through, every trial you've survived, every moment you thought was meaningless, it was all preparation for this. This message was never just a reminder. It was your confirmation. October 28th is your rising day. Not just a date on a calendar, but a line drawn in the spirit, a holy threshold that separates who you were from who you are becoming. You are not crossing over emotionally. You are crossing over spiritually. The heavens have spoken. The angels have moved. The atmosphere has been charged with divine urgency. This is not about hype. This is not about motivation. This is your final notice before elevation. And the Lord declares, you will not stay behind. You will not live in circles. You will not repeat what you have conquered. This time, you are stepping through. What once bound you can no longer hold you. What once tormented you has now expired. The fear that once paralyzed you has been dismantled. You are not who you were last season. You are not the one who doubted. You are not the one who hesitated. You are the one who heard and obeyed. You are the one who was marked and molded. You are the one who is rising. There is a fresh clarity upon you now, a divine sharpness. The fog of delay is lifted. The spiritual tension has broken, and in its place stands peace, not because everything is easy, but because now you know who you are. And because you know who you are, you know where you're going. The Spirit of the Lord says, may clarity guide you. May peace guard you. May obedience lift you. May the doors that once resisted you now recognize you. May the anointing upon your life speak louder than any opposition. You are not being elevated by chance. You are being launched by divine appointment. The gates of heaven are open. The scrolls of assignment are active. And your next season doesn't begin with applause. It begins with obedience. Your name has been spoken in heavenly places. Your path has been cleared. Your purpose is in motion. You are sealed, seen, and sent. Now rise. Rise with confidence. Rise with authority. Rise with clarity. For heaven has already opened your next door. Type "I receive my rising" in the comments if you know this word was sent for you. Blessing code 2828 is now igniting your new beginning. If this word lit a fire in your spirit, if it confirmed what you've been silently carrying, then step into this moment not only with your faith, but with your seed of agreement. When you support this ministry, through membership, super thanks, or a PayPal gift, you become part of something holy, the global echo of God's voice reaching every soul who's been standing at the edge, waiting for their rising. This is more than generosity, it's prophecy in motion. Galatians 6:9 says, "In due season, we shall reap if we do not faint." For many, this is that season, and you have the chance to become part of their release. I believe those who sow into this word will experience the harvest of sudden alignment. You'll find the PayPal link in the video description. Use it as an act of obedience, a prophetic response, a declaration that you are not just listening, you are moving. Let your giving break old cycles. Let your offering open new gates. This is not the end of the message. This is the start of your movement. Heaven is watching. Now respond.